In 1992, the NBA draft came and went. 54 players heard their names called. One man did not. No team wanted him. No scout believed in him. But 12 years later, that same man would stand at the top of the basketball world, an NBA champion, and the most feared defender alive. This is the story of Ben Wallace, the man they called Nobody. Whitehall, Alabama, a small town with no stoplights, no scouts, and no reason to expect greatness. Ben Wallace was the 10th of 11 children. His family had almost nothing. They shared everything: clothes, food, space. There was no safety net, only hard work. He was strong, relentless, hungry. But no Division I college came calling, not one. So Ben went to Virginia Union, a tiny Division II school where NBA scouts never bothered to look. Everyone told him the dream was over before it began. Ben didn't listen. The 1992 NBA draft, 54 picks. Ben Wallace was not one of them. Not the first round, not the second, not at all. He watched players he knew he could outwork get everything he ever wanted, and he got nothing. Most men would have quit, gone home, taken the ordinary life the world handed them. Ben Wallace signed as an undrafted free agent, and he went to work. He got cut. He got traded. Washington, Orlando, a stop overseas in Italy. For years, he was a footnote, a body to fill a roster spot. But every single day, Ben Wallace outworked everyone in the building. While others rested, he was in the gym. While others talked, he trained. Greatness was being built in the dark, where no one was watching. In the year 2000, Ben Wallace landed in Detroit, and everything changed. Coach Larry Brown didn't see a scorer, he saw an engine. Pure will. Ben couldn't shoot. His free throws were a joke, some seasons under 40%. But he did something nobody else could. He guarded everyone. Every night, every possession. Shaquille O'Neal was the most dominant force the league had ever seen. 30 points a night, unstoppable, feared by everyone. Ben Wallace was not afraid of Shaq. He bodied him, he fought him, and he made the most dominant man alive work for every single inch. With his giant afro and a frame too small for a center, Ben became the heartbeat of Detroit. He led the entire NBA in rebounds. He led the league in blocks. And the fans voted an undrafted kid from a Division II school into the All-Star game as a starter. Then came the awards. 2002, Defensive Player of the Year. 2003, again. 2004, a third time. 2006, a fourth. Four times. No one in history has ever won it more. Think about how absurd that is. A man who could barely score became the most valuable defender on the planet. A four-time All-Star. A five-time member of the all-defensive first team. No player had ever dominated a game so completely without scoring a single point. Ben Wallace rewrote the rules. He proved you did not need to put the ball in the basket to be the most important man on the floor. And Detroit fell in love with him. Every rebound, every block, every charge he took felt personal. Like he was fighting for every overlooked, undrafted, counted-out person in that city. The fans didn't just cheer for Ben Wallace. They saw themselves in him. They called Detroit a team with no stars. They were wrong. The star just didn't score. He defended. This was not talent. Talent gets drafted. This was something the draft could never measure. Heart. But none of it meant anything without a ring. 2004, the Detroit Pistons against the Los Angeles Lakers. Kobe, Shaq, Karl Malone, Gary Payton. The most stacked team ever assembled. Vegas called it a sweep. The world gave Detroit no chance. Ben Wallace did not care. The Pistons had no superstar. Just 5 men who played like brothers and defended like their lives depended on it. Game after game, they suffocated the Lakers. And in the middle of it all stood Big Ben, blocking shots, ripping down rebounds, refusing to let Shaq breathe. The Detroit Pistons won the championship in 5 games. The undrafted kid from Whitehall, Alabama, was a world champion. But the story didn't end there. Ben Wallace became the soul of a city. Detroit was blue-collar, hard-working, overlooked. And so was he. Going to work, they called it. In 2016, the Pistons retired his number 3 to the rafters, a number that started with nothing. And in 2021, basketball gave him its highest honor. Ben Wallace was inducted into the Hall of Fame, the first fully undrafted player ever to make it. From a draft that ignored him to immortality. Here's what Ben Wallace teaches us. The world will tell you no. Scouts, coaches, the people in charge. They'll look at you and see nothing worth their time. That doesn't mean they're right. Ben had no scholarship, no draft pick, no highlight reel. He had one thing. He outworked everyone, every single day, until the world had no choice but to remember his name. 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards, an NBA championship, a retired jersey, a place in the Hall of Fame. Not bad for a nobody.